new place, a new home. For a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. I know man passing by.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on the Juvenile Ehwi St Cambridge channel. But today I want to talk to you about accommodation in Cambridge. I know accommodation you'll find can be very expensive, especially the accommodation that is suitable. And when I talk about suitable, I mean the one that is perhaps nearer to a faculty that you're going to work with, or a faculty or a department that you're going to study at, or the accommodation that is nearer to the city center where you can find a lot of shops or a lot of places that you may want to see in Cambridge. So yeah, although Cambridge is a very beautiful city, accommodation can be expensive, but the university is doing a lot to support or to help with the situation. The university has about a little under 1,500 accommodation units, various kinds, that will suit everyone, but there is an eligibility criteria, and I'm going to put that on the in the description box so that you can have a read for yourself. And so because of that, if you're coming to work with the university or you're coming to study with the university, you will find that you'll have to be put on a waiting list for the accommodation services, because the university has its own accommodation website. So I think it would be better for me to approach this in two ways, in two categories. Okay, let's look at student situation first and worker or employee situation. So let's start with the students. If you're coming here as a student, well, that's very good because you'll be admitted into a college, and so colleges have accommodation that is suitable. Okay, but I think what I want to put out there is that not all colleges offer family accommodation. So you may choose maybe an accommodation, a college, because of various reasons, various factors, and there are lots of videos out there that can help you. The university has its own video explaining how to choose a college, but the advice that I want to give to people out there is that if, for instance, you're coming to study for your undergraduate degree, okay, and you perhaps choose one college and you're coming back later to pursue your studies, to pursue further studies, and you're coming with your family, then you'll find that not all colleges have family accommodation. So I'll also put in the description box a list of colleges that have family accommodation, because this is what happened to us when we were coming back to Cambridge, because Richmond is a member of Darwin College and I am a member of St Edmund's College. Okay, but Richmond switched to Queen's College for his PhD, and it turns out that Queen's College did not at that time have family accommodation. They only had couples accommodation, so that means we weren't eligible for college accommodation. And so fortunately, because you're admitted into a college for life or you're matriculated into a college for life, Darwin still considered Richmond as its member, as his member, as their member. So we got family accommodation, and it was in a very lovely area in Newham. I was close to this beautiful Newham Park, and so that was a really, really beautiful place to stay, and we were truly grateful to Darwin for coming to our rescue, because we were desperate. Because we had been put on the university accommodation list, like I said, it takes time before you can get accommodation. So just bear that in mind when you're choosing your colleges, of all the criteria that you have in mind. If you have the desire that you will be coming later on with your family, then choose a college that has family accommodation, because when you are in a place where accommodation can be tricky or expensive, then every little helps. So whilst you're waiting for accommodation from the university service, from the university accommodation services, then you can have perhaps accommodation from your college. So let's come to workers, okay? When it comes to employees of the university has its own criteria, as I said earlier, for selecting people for accommodation. And even though they have many accommodation units of different kinds and to suit different family needs, there is a waiting list because they have to apply that criteria, okay? And they also have built this new development, and that's called the Northwest Development in Edmonton, and that's near Girton College, which is a little bit away from the city center, but it's in a very beautiful location, and you may be eligible for the accommodation at Edmonton, but there is a caveat here. They advise that the accommodation is not suitable for larger families, and when I say larger families, I mean families that have 2 kids or 2 children. So maximum they will accept is a family that has 1 child. Okay, so you may find that you will get accommodation, but it will not be at Edmonton. And a lot of people like Edmonton because obviously it's in a nice neighborhood. The university is in the catchment area of the university primary, so yeah, you would want that. But yeah, if you have more than 1 child, you will not be eligible for Edmonton. That being said, once you're in Edmonton and you happen to have another child or even 2 more, the university is not going to tell you to relocate or move out of the Edmonton accommodation. You can only stay, but there's a maximum time for which you can live in Edmonton. This is 5 years, and that actually applies to all university accommodation. You can only stay for a maximum of 5 years, so long as you meet all their eligibility criteria, and that includes being continuously employed by the university or its affiliate institutions, and also being within a certain income bracket. Okay, so you have to bear that in mind. Apart from that, the university, on the accommodation website, the university has a list of private rentals that you can also look at. That is, if you're waiting and you find suitable private accommodation on their website, you can go ahead and go and check, have a look at it, and if you find it suitable, accept that offer as well. But if neither of that is going to work for you, then you can rent privately. You don't necessarily have to wait for the university. You can go to online services like Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market. They have all the advertisements for all the local estate agents that have accommodation to suit various family needs. So you can find all of that as well. So yeah, I think that's all for today. That's what I want to put out there, just to help everyone who may be wanting to come to Cambridge. So if you're just coming to live in Cambridge, you're just relocating to Cambridge, then, and you're not necessarily going to work for Cambridge or study in Cambridge, then you can just use the private accommodation, and you probably will find a variety of accommodation to suit your needs. But just bear in mind that accommodation generally in Cambridge is relatively expensive, so just have that at the back of your mind. So thank you very much for stopping by our channel today. We really appreciate it. Like this video, share it, and consider to subscribe to our channel. We really thank you, and all the best.